Hey Jody, what's going on? What's going on? Hey everybody, this is Newlink TV. Today we have one of our guests, one of the deep, profound women when it comes to knowledge, and she's the girl, man. Like fellas, you're gonna listen. I have a few questions that I have for her today, and then she better answer these questions. And then it's just Judgment Day. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So, Jay, let's talk about some real stuff, man. How you been? How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, doing well.
Look at you, man, pretty, you singing all over the world. You know how it is. You know, one of the finest Jamaican chick ever. What's going on? You know,
Big up yourself.
Let people know who you are. You know what I'm saying? What you do, whatever.
My name is Jody Renee, real Jody Renee. Is what I go by on social media platforms. But yes, I am in the line of mental health. I am a clinical caseworker, so I work in the field of human services. Currently, I work with also at-risk youth to keep them out of the juvenile justice system.
And also tell people about your singing talent. That your people you work with in the past before. A few Jamaican artists that you worked before. Let them know that skills and.
Well, I can sing. Not a lot of people know that I can sing, but I do sing. Not trying to do it professionally, but it's a hobby that I've always had, and kind of used to do some bad girl music and
nice.
thing back in the day. Had the fortunate opportunity to open for Lady Saw back in my college day, which was awesome.
Oh, nice. So was it something that you were passionate about, or?
At the time, definitely. As of right now, where I'm at in my life, I think my focus is kind of going somewhere else. Just kind of, trying to help people and use my abilities to be an agent of change for people.
Yeah. So, you ready? So let's get straight to the point today.
Okay.
So, the questions I'm going to ask you is a few questions that, usually that occur during it could be at the bar or a get together or the party. It could be daily, regular questions. And I have some questions that I have written down for you because I know you, when it comes to conversation, you drop them jewels or you got the ism. So here's a question I want to ask you, right? Do you think a man should have sex with a woman on the first date because he took her out? Or do you think that sex during a date should wait, or can it happen the first date? Like, do you think you should have sex with a guy on the first date?
I think that if the energy is there, to adults, consenting adults, if that's kind of where it leads to, then that's okay. But I don't think that's like a prerequisite of, to sex. Like, hey, I'm gonna take you out to dinner, and the expectation should be that any woman who is taken out the prerequisite is dinner, but then after she's gonna have to have sex. Because what if I'm, trying to find somebody that I want to be with, and I say, okay, I'm on a dating app, and I met 4 guys or 5 guys within a 2-week period, and they all want to take me out. That means in 2 weeks I had 5 sexual partners because they took me out to eat. I don't think
that's a good point. That's a good point, because I never think that way. The reason I'm asking this question is because lately I saw a lot of videos that went viral because a lot of guys, they exposing women that they took on a date on the first date, and they're like, listen, this is the bill. Are we gonna go home? Are we having sex? Usually the women be like, no, I don't wanna have sex, and the guy would be like, okay. I took you on a date. Or I even saw a guy who flew this chick into LA, and then she don't want to have sex with him, and then he felt some type of way. As a woman, how do you think that? How do you think? Because me personally, myself, and I feel like is more like a connection. I don't feel like I need to take somebody on a date. First date, I'm not expecting sex. I'm here to get a connection, regardless or not that. If the connection is there, from a man perspective, I think it's going to happen eventually. But I'm not expected to go on a date with a girl on the first date and expect that, we come home and anything like that. So, from a woman's perspective, what do you think?
Okay, it's like 2 parts to that question I kind of want to answer. The first part I would say is, as far as a meal, from my own personal experience, okay, I had a date with someone. I knew that after the date, I didn't want to see them again. Like, it was just, you know, I had great conversation. I just, you know, from what I saw and then what I saw in person were kind of two different things. And overall, I just wasn't attracted to him. Okay. So usually you know when you meet somebody for the first time, you know if you're attracted, like, oof, wow, he's fine, or oof, she looks good. You know that instantly.
Got you. Yeah.
The attraction just kind of wasn't there. Long story short, I sat, listened to him, you know, just validated, you know, his feelings and what he kind of was going through, and we still got to know each other. But when the bill came, I offered to pay my half.
Okay.
And I did that because I wasn't going out on another date with you.
Got you.
So I didn't want him to feel like, oh, she just like wanted a free meal out of me. It's like, no, I'm gonna pay for my meal because I know in my mind that I'm not gonna see you again. In sum, he didn't make me pay. Like, he just was like, no, he was adamant. I tried multiple times. I'm like, it's okay, I'll pay my portion. Because at the end of the day, if it doesn't work out, hey, I'm not gonna see you again. You're definitely not getting sex. But it was just a nice time out. Two people that had a meal, they paid for themselves, and they had a good conversation, and it was an experience. You know, good or bad, indifferent, whether it happens again, it was an experience, and we go home. As far as what you were talking about with flying out and these kinds of things, I'm not gonna get what flued out is what they say, flued out, and just think that a man is not gonna at least expect some kind of physical interaction sexually with me. I just, as an adult, wouldn't be that naive to think that that's not what a man would expect, especially if he's bought my plane ticket, especially if he's, you know, invested quite a bit of money, even if, and especially if he hasn't even met me before. It's like, you know, that's tough. So I wouldn't do that. I think that you just got to be careful with stuff like that. Plus, you know, you don't really know people, and you could deny them sex, and, you know, people can take sex. You know, so it's just more of a safety thing. But
all right, the second question that I have for you, right? Do you think your baby daddy or your ex-husband should pay rent while your new boyfriend's living in the house? Do you think that he should, like, as far as helping you pay rent, because he got the kids with you, right?
Okay.
So do you think that should he pay while you live with another man? Is what I'm saying?
Okay. I'm gonna ask you a question quick. Does any responsible adult live for free?
No, I'm just saying in the sense, let's say he doesn't live there, but let's say, for instance, on the weekends, to come here and chill all the time. You could spend every weekend. This guy's over. He has his own space.
Okay, he has his own place. I think it depends on the arrangement. Say if I was having my rent paid by my, you know, ex or baby daddy, I think once a man starts to stay there more regularly, then no, I don't think I would be okay with that.
Yeah.
Because I just would reverse the roles. I know we, like, traditionally we think about things in a certain way, but we live in a, like, modern society, so it's like we can't really always think so traditionally. But as far as rent, me personally, I can pay my own rent. My issue is just helping me financially with my son, right, or my child, or my daughter, or my kids. Take care of them in that regard. Yes, a home is a part of their living, but also I could have multiple people living in my house. I could have my mom, my aunt, my grandmother. You know, I could have a multi-generational home, and then he's my ex and is expected to pay for everybody.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, you know, so the answer to that question is, if that was already an arrangement, okay. But if once I started having a man there more regularly, then probably not. But I wouldn't have a man paying my rent.
See, I like that. I like the answer, y'all. So you see, I was thinking of the same way. Real talk. But let me ask you a question. You know, things is just, it's changing now these days. And what I notice is that, like, when it comes to Instagram and things like that, you know, how do you feel about OnlyFans and women? They getting money, they're getting millions, and the women that use, like, nude pictures. The one thing I realized that most of these women, they have boyfriends and they're in a relationship. But to me, before I even asked you this question, OnlyFans, that's mean that you for the fans. So how do you feel about that though? Because I don't think I'm comfortable with my wife or my girlfriend on Instagram naked and then with new pictures, But I'm not gonna blame Knock the Hustle, and I feel like it's not for everyone. I feel like if you're not comfortable with that situation, that means she's not the one for you, or she's not that person you should be with, though. How do you feel about women on Instagram or social media getting the bag for, they're getting money over here? How do you feel about that, though?
I think that we are living in some tough times, and people have to find a way, make a way to get the things that they want in life. And if OnlyFans is how you have to do it, I'm not gonna knock the hustle. And I think that you should do what makes you comfortable. I think that you should do what is going to be lucrative and give you a better life for yourself or your children or your family. As far as a relationship, I think that you should definitely talk to, if you're getting into a relationship, letting that person know up front that that's what you're involved in. Let them make the decision if they want to continue to deal with you, because they might not be comfortable with that, and you should respect that. If I'm in a relationship and my man is fine with it, then great. You guys can do it, do it together, split the bag together, But if you're in a relationship with somebody and they don't want you to do it, then you either do it and not be with that person, or you don't do it and be with that person. It's a very simple.
Would you feel comfortable if your daughter had if you have a daughter? Would you comfortable with her on OnlyFans, or how would you feel if you find you have a daughter is doing the OnlyFans?
I would not feel comfortable with my daughter doing OnlyFans. But it also depends on her content. If it's kind of tasteful, if you're talking full nudity.
That's what it is. Well, that's what OnlyFans is right now.
It's always nudity. I don't watch OnlyFans, so I don't really know specific. So okay, well, no. The answer would be no. Okay. I would say no to that for my child, because there are things in life that you do, there are things in life that you say that can come back to haunt you, right? Because you can be at a certain place in your life, and hey, I did that because I was at a certain place in my life, and then hey, you get to a better place in life where you're more high profile, you're of value to people, right? Whether that's just financially or whatever, right? And then people can use things from your past to dangle over your head, right? So, and your past can come back to haunt you. So for her, I wouldn't want her to do that, because I would be afraid that.
Got you. So let me ask you a question. So we're living into a culture now is that, everybody think they beautiful. It doesn't matter big, small, skinny, short, midget. When it comes to women beauty standard, my question is to you: Do you believe that every woman are 10?
10, 10 being the best, 10 out of 10.
10, the best. Let's say 1 to 10. The 10 is the best look ever. Do you believe that every woman is 10?
I don't think so, and I don't think
he's the tricky part of it, right? So I'm glad you said that. So you looking at the media now talk about Lizzo, right? But
I think she's beautiful.
But that's what I'm saying. Do you think she's a 10?
I would not say she's a 10, because I think a 10 is just perfection. I think a 10 is perfect.
But in her mind, she's thinking that she's perfect.
And no one is perfect, right? I would leave that up to stats and facts.
Yeah.
As far as her size, we just know that some people like bigger women, some people like smaller women. But it's just a known fact. Depending on what your BMI is, depending on what your weight is, especially as a black woman, as black people, we are predisposed to many different things. So it's good to have body positivity and being positive and accepting and owning who you are and what you look like. That's great now when you're young, but also I would just encourage people to think about the effects of that living and lifestyle as you become older, because it'll have more detrimental effects. I think if Lizzo is comfortable with how she looks, then we should allow her to do that. But at the end of the day, you know, there are going to be a lot of people that are going to object to how she looks.
Okay.
But me personally, I think she's a gorgeous woman, and if she likes that she's how she looks, then who are we to say anything?
All right, so we could understand that. So next question.
Bring it on, I'm ready.
Because I know he's ready. I know. Who do you think in a relationship should come first, the husband or the kid? So who'd come first in a relationship?
Or you mean you said
A marriage.
so you're
in
talking
a
about a marriage.
Marriage.
Okay.
Who come? Yeah.
So
Maybe on a solid relationship, boyfriend and girlfriend, but you guys live together. Who come first? Like, if you come, when it comes to dinner, or you who eat first? Because me, I remember when I was younger. Because my dad, until this guy come home, you're not gonna eat. So do you think that with this new generation, or because I feel like it was tradition, but now we're living into a modern world. So, so what do you think should come first, the kid or the husband?
I think it's whatever you and your husband or wife feel comfortable with, right? Just based on like the dynamics of your relationship. As far as me, marriage, my husband comes first.
Okay.
And foremost.
Hey, hold on. Do you know there's gonna be a lot of women that disagree with that? Because
and that's fine.
I asked that question. So many women, they feel like no, the kids should come first. Me, I'm thinking that the husband was there before the kid. You know what I'm saying? So, okay. I mean, a lot of women, I think that might find that like the kids must come first. So
I would say the reason why, depending also on the dynamic of your relationship, if your husband is a complete provider, right? The reason why he would have to come first is because if he comes last, right, then the household is gonna fall apart. Right?
Wow, I like that part. He makes sense.
He has to come. If I'm just home and I'm, say I'm a stay-at-home mom and I'm taking care of our kids and our family, our kids are gonna just come first in other aspects, right? I gotta wake them up, I gotta feed them, I gotta change them, they're gonna come first just organically, naturally, but there are gonna be a certain times where, you'd have to make your man at least feel first.
Now, I'm going to
feel first.
I'm going to make this question more tricky.
Okay.
So let's say your husband's sick, your daughter, your son is sick, right?
Okay.
Now, both of them have kidney failure. Or which one would you just give the kidney? Both match with you. But you got to give it one. You got to save one. Or would you save the husband, or you would just save the kid?
I told
you I'm not going to make it easy for you.
I would. I'm a match for both.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can give children adult kidneys, but
no. Let's say that.
Okay, hypothetically.
Yeah.
Oh man! Wow. Do I have to answer that?
Yes. I mean, you don't have to, but
Okay, well, this is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna play both sides. Okay, husband, some people would say husband, and I think the reason why they would say husband is because if you give the husband the kidney, right, and the child dies, right, we could just put him on a transplant, situation and just pray, there's a transplant that comes for him. Because the thing is, if you keep the husband, you could then continue to have kids, right? Now, if you give the kidney to the child, and the husband dies, right? You don't have a husband. You can't have any more children. Now you have to. You don't have your breadwinner if he's the provider of your family. So I'm just.
Can you get another husband though?
You can, but if you've already.
But it's harder to say that I want to have, it's harder. It's not like a man gonna come out here. You go out there. Oh, you know what? You a husband, come in. You know what I mean? It's not something you could go out there and choose. You know what I mean? It has to come.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's easier to have a child with your husband than trying to find a man to have a child with.
Yeah, that's exactly. Wow, I'm loving this, man. I'm having a good time right here, man. Good conversation, man. Good conversation.
You got me on the spot, so
I know, but I told you I was not gonna make it easy. I was not gonna make it easy for you, though. Yeah. So, what do you think about BBL? Women with all this BBL, fake butts, fake tits, and all that. So how do you feel about that, though?
I think that women are beautiful. Okay, But I realize that some women do not feel that they are beautiful. Or they might think they're beautiful in some areas and they lack in other areas. I think that is perfectly fine to enhance your beauty and enhance how you look. I think that it's just important to do it safely and don't allow vanity to kill you. Meaning, don't, go to some chop shop or some, pump party or whatever you call them, or going overseas, because it's $5,000 less and I can save all this money and they can take out all this extra fat that they normally wouldn't take out over here. Whatever the case may be, I just don't think you should jeopardize your life, right? Because you're not happy with how you look. Do it the safe way. Hey, if you don't have enough money, then you need to, get to work your overtime, save, delay your gratification, and just do it safely. That's my personal feeling about it.
So besides the safety reason, right? So the purpose of that is to enhance your beauty. I feel like we're living into a society where women think that beauty is what is, that's the only thing that men needs. Is what I'm saying? And I feel like, do you think is more like a low self-esteem issue when it comes to that? Like, do you think that you need to have your breasts to get done or your butt done for you to really get what you wanted? Or do you feel like women are doing it for them? It has nothing to do with men, or because they feel insecure, some form of insecurity about themselves?
I mean, I think that some people, yes, might have some insecurities and they then want to feel better about themselves. I feel like some people who get BBLs, they might already have good confidence, right, about themselves, feel good, and they're just like, yeah, my confidence is already here and it's about to be here. It's going to be to the next level now. So I think it could be somewhat of a self-esteem issue, but if you do have low self-esteem and in you doing this, it's going to, improve your self-esteem. That in turn is going to improve what? Your mental health, right? And your mental health affects your physical health, and your physical health affects your mental health. So if I, feel good physically, mentally, I'm probably going to be in a good space, right? If I feel bad mentally, right? Mentally, I'm not in a good space. Physically, I can make myself sick, right? I don't want to eat, I feel sick, you know what I mean? So I just feel like they kind of, they're parallel to one another. One.
Would you consider get it done one day? Consider getting it done?
Would I get a BBL?
Yeah. Would you get a BNB?
I would never get a BBL because my mom had a saying growing up: "Leave well enough alone." I think I have a well enough body. I eat well. I try to work. I work out and go to the gym. So I just try to get my results that way, I think also, getting a BBL sometimes too is an easier way for people to get results. But I think I would encourage them to also maintain that, because I know some people have to go for another round and another round. If you got 30 pounds of fat sucked out of you and then you go back home and you're kind of eating the same way, living the same lifestyle, that weight is just going to go right back on. So I would say if you're going to spend all that money and invest in yourself, also invest in your eating well, invest also in going to the gym and maintain what you work so hard to obtain.
Well said. We like to keep it real, because I told you I'm not going to make it easy for you. My last question is going to be this, right?
Okay.
We complete a faith. You don't have to answer. That's the last question. We almost done. I know you got things to do. You're a busy lady. Question. Are you ready?
Okay.
Tell me one race of people that you would never date, that you're not attractive to. Because the reason I ask this question is because it's always a preference.
Yes.
Is that have nothing to do that prejudice or being racist. It's just like, tell me a person that you would never date.
I have never really been attracted to Asian men, Chinese or Koreans.
Why is that though? I get that a lot. I've seen a lot of people saying that even white women and different race of women, they saying that they don't see Asian men attractive. And right now, if you go based on the statistics and census, they prove that the Asians are the least men when it comes to dating, the least people that people want. So when it comes to dating, and then come the black women. So there's the more, I think number one is black or black men, and then white men or something like that people want to date. So yeah, I mean,
I'm open. that's where I'm at. Like, I'm open to dating. I mean, I would, like, he would have to be real swagged out. He'd have to have charisma. He would have to know how to dress. You know, so I'm not opposed to. I just haven't really. Also, I think it's your sphere of influence as well. I think that we are kind of stay in our, you know, social, you know, and ethnic groups. So you tend to kind of just be attracted to who you are around often. You know, I feel like, hey, if I started hanging out with some, you know, Asian folks, like, or Asian guys, then yes, I might, you know, I might be more, you know, attracted to them. You know, if I was around them more and engaged with them more, I think, yeah, that would be the least. But I wouldn't say that I wouldn't be opposed. No, I wouldn't say that there's any race that I am completely opposed to dating. But
so you one of the girl that's like, we all got children, you love everybody.
Yeah, I mean, just because I said I'm not opposed to doesn't mean also that like you said, I don't have a preference. My preference, I would prefer men of color. But I am not opposed to dating a man of a lighter hue.
Yeah, so I think that it makes sense, and because you know, people they got comfortable with the comfort zone and things like that. But you know, I was just saying that on the physical aspect of it, not just
Well,
more
physically,
like attraction.
I am attracted to black men. That's who I am attracted to.
So you're not physically attracted to Asian guys?
No.
Okay.
But I'm not opposed to dating one that, you know, eventually, you know, that physical attraction could then grow. That's something that would have to kind of grow and develop. It's not something that would be like my go-to, you know. That's like, you know, you're at the liquor store and you're like, you know, I drink Hennessy, you know what I mean? And then it's like, well, do you want to try, you know, tequila? And you're like, oh, well, I don't really, you know, that's my first preference, but, you know, I can maybe try it, see if I like it over time. But no, my go-to is, you know, I drink what I drink.
Okay.
You know?
Listen. Next time, I'm telling you, I'm not gonna make it. It's gonna be harder. You know what I mean? Because yes, I feel like today, you know, you didn't take no pressure. You know what I'm saying? You didn't solve the question.
Today?
Yeah, man. Yo, listen, I want you always know whenever, you know what I'm saying, you're around, like, you know what I'm saying, like, you could come, you know, just, you know, speak your mind, you know. I'm always going to have a bunch of questions for you because, you know, conversation when it comes to us is more like, you know, it's crazy, it's get deep, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, I always like, I like people that, you know, they have substance, you know, good conversation, you know. Yeah, man, like, you know, New Link TV is always here. Come to the platform, you know. Let people know. Yeah, anything else you want to let people know before you go? Or anything you want to tell the world, everybody, you know, the New Links family? What's going on?
Well, y'all, thank you for having me. I will come and support you anytime that I can because you are definitely a friend to me. So I definitely come and support your channel. Whenever you need me, I'll come running.
Nice, man. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you, man. All right, till next time, all right?
Bye.
Bye-bye.